Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to GBear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And I've been framed. You betcha. So, I spent the day getting this up, and I guess now the next trip is going to be to go pick up some OSB, have them rip it down in 2-foot strips, and then I'm going to run it along the bottom all the way around. And then I've got enough wire to put at least one run above that across here, and that should get me up above where I want my totes to be out here. So then I can build the support for the totes, so as the totes get empty, I can move them out of there and get all that cinder block out of there and rake that thing down. Now, one thing that I do have to do is this corner is 2 inches high. There's a hump in the ground that goes right about from where that 4x4 is, right where my shadow is, to the corner. And then on this side, it goes from right there at the rope to this corner. So what I will do is I'll get my pick out and I'll pick along both inside and outside around the area that has to be done. And then I'll use my bar right here to snatch and pull the dirt out from underneath it until it drops down into place. And then I'll be all set to start putting the rest of the stuff on here. Now, this will be where the doorway goes, right here. But I was thinking I might even move it over to here. But I've got to sit down tonight and do a little bit of penciling on paper as to the layout of my raised bed garden that's going in here. Remember, the whole floor of this is going to be wired so that the critters can't come up from underneath. Same as the Garden of Eating. I did that when I first put that up, and it's worked good so far. So, all right, so you see the ropes here. Yeah. So how did I lift a 200+ pound wall from laying on the ground up into place like this? No, I didn't build it in the upright position. I built it laying down on the ground, as you can see where the 4x4s left their marks in the dirt here. Well, let me tell you how I did it. I used my head. Yeah, instead of strong mind beats a strong back every day. Remember, give me a big enough lever and I'll move the earth. Give me enough snatch blocks and some rope and I'll move the universe. So anyway, that's what I did. First thing I did was I used my bar to get underneath the edge of the wall, or the top of the wall right here. Then I lifted it up enough so I could kick this 4x4 underneath it. All right, so then I had that going just right, so I grabbed this 2x4 right there and I stuck that underneath the wall, and I used that for a lever to lift it up enough so I could set it down on top of this jack stand, which now has me 2.5 feet off the ground. Okay, so I'm not dragging on the ground anymore. I've got it already starting in the upward position. Then I drove a stake in the ground at the base so the bottom wouldn't slide inward as I was pulling on the hoist. Then, you see this extra 2x4 here? Well, it's only got one screw in it right there. And this was one of the first ones that I used. The other two I've already taken off. I had one in that post and one in this post. And I had them set at different elevations off the base. So, I can disconnect this now. So what that allowed was, that was like a safety jack. And this piece, of course, just swings freely. So it was laying down this way on an angle, and as I started hoisting the wall up, this kept, with gravity, it kept coming out and out and out and out and out until that was as far as I could pull, and I had to get a new grip. I could let it go now, and this would hit the ground and hold the wall up in that position. So, and I had put two more on here at different elevations, so that as I pulled it up some more, they'd grab it and lift it and hold it at that lifted point. Okay, so then I put the other two that I took off, the other two that I had on the sides of that, I put them here to hold this thing so the wind wouldn't blow it one way or the other. Then on the second wall, of course, I didn't have any place to tie off over there that would be strong enough. Tying off to that tote was a good position for it, because that tote weighs over a ton. So it wasn't about to move. And then using a 2-to-1 snatch block setup, that took a lot of weight off the wall. So with one hand I could pull on that rope right there, and then as I got it to a point where I needed a break, I'd wrap the rope around the 4x4 and tie it off so I could reset my 2x4s and that stuff, and would hold it in place. Pretty cool, huh? A little bit of smoke and mirrors. No, ropes and levers. Yeah, actually I just lifted it into place, and I did all this other stuff so that nobody would know that I have superpowers. Right? All right. So anyway, like I said, I left these at the full length, so they're taller than the old Garden of Eden. And then I'll be putting a couple of posts at intervals there where the other posts are, because all of that screen and everything is coming off of there, and that's all going to be transferred to the outside here. I'll be going up with a couple that just stick up that much higher along there, and then I can block that with either wire or OSB. It really doesn't really have to be wire, but since that's the south right there, I would like to have some light coming in through there, so I may just do it with the wire. And then I'll be ready to go. But all my raised garden in here, I'm planning on doing probably with cinder block instead of with wood like I did on the other one, because the wood gets soaking wet and dried and soaking wet and dried, and of course you're going to get dry rot after a while. So also the 2x12s by 12 are expensive as heck right now, and I can get enough cinder block to do two of those, a double height of the wood, for about half the price of the wood. So that's the way I'm going to go with it, and I'll be able to sorting all this stuff out of here and getting this all cleaned out. And of course this wall will also come down right here. I won't need that anymore. It'll be just a walk-through, and that'll just be a post in the center, and I might change that out to a 4x4 so that oh, actually, you know what I can do is I'll just take another 4x4 and stick it in the corner and go up the height I need to for this corner, and it'll match that one and it'll match that one. That'll be a good idea. And then comes the long 2x4s, the ones that go across the roof like I did in here. And those would be 18 feet long, and that'll give me a little bit of an overhang on the end. But on this greenhouse, or on this section of the garden, I'm only going to put shade cloth on the roof, because that wall will be blocked with totes and OSB, and this wall will be just wire, but that's facing north, so that doesn't really get a lot of sun coming through. At the bottom 2 feet will be plywood. So I do like I did on the chicken coop, go up 2 feet with metal over there, but That's because I had the metal for free. And over here I'll have to use plywood, but that works out nice because it keeps critters from coming in at the base. They have to tunnel underneath, and when they do, they come up and find out there's wire there and they can't go anywhere. I'll have this thing all put together just in time to watch the winter come in again, and then plant in this side next year. Because even if I get it all put together and get my raised beds in here and get the soil in, the soil will be too hot to plant in. So I'll have to let it sit over through the winter and cool off before I can use it to plant. All right, so I'm just going to run real quick here and finish this off. And I want to show you, I just did a good soaking in here. But I saw this. There's my first asparagus spear. Isn't that something? The thing is that this is only the second year of the asparagus growing, and you're not supposed to get asparagus, I know. You're not supposed to get an asparagus until after the third year. But I've already got my first one coming up here, and it looks like there might be one coming up over there too. So, cool. Of course, just 2 spears are going to be enough for a meal. But I planted some more cilantro in here after I put the soil in and raised it up a little. And then over here, I noticed that because of this warm spring-like weather, that there's buds starting to show up on this pear tree. Look at them. They're looking nice and healthy. Yeah, there's buds everywhere here. So that one's going to be doing really well. And this comes off the rootstock. I don't know what they use for rootstock, but the reason I let these grow is because I'm going to end up pruning them off down a little lower and grafting on a nice sized branch of another type of pear or apple, so I can have a multi-tree here. Also, over here, look at my mushrooms. I got mushrooms. Anyway, over here, I can see, well, let's see if I can get out of the glare. Well, maybe not. Yeah, there's green buds all over this thing, starting to sprout out. So this one's going to start taking off, which means I can graft a scion from that new cherry tree I've got onto this peach tree and see if I can get some cherries going. The problem is, if the temperatures go back to the freezing, I'll lose that graft. So what I can do, I don't know if anybody knows this trick, is you use those insulated shipping envelopes, the ones that have the bubble wrap on the inside. So you wrap that around your graft area, and that will keep it warm and keep the hot sun from baking and drying out your scion. So I can do that and hope that it holds and we don't have too much of a jump back in weather. Garlic's doing well. The radishes are sprouting up everywhere. The spinach is starting to come back up again. And everything's looking good out here. So anyway, I want to cover that. Look, these are branches I pruned off of that pear tree. And look, they're showing signs of sprouting here. That one is, and this one is. And I think I had one other, oh yeah, right over there. And that one is. That's just cutting the bottom at a sharp angle and then sticking it in the ground and keeping it moist. And hopefully it'll spring some roots out of that. And then I'll have a couple more pear trees going. And even if they don't produce good pears, they'll be good rootstock for grafting other apples and pears and things like that onto. All right, everybody, that's all I have for today. I'm going to go in and get me a cold one. I've been working my butt off. Before I do, I want to remind you about thumbs ups, and don't forget to subscribe. But also, these snatch blocks. I bought these at Harbor Freight Tools, and there's the numbers on them. These are great. These are really great to have. Now this one, I made this extra metal piece to put on the bottom, and I put a longer bolt through there. So that's my normally my puller. That would be the bottom one. So that would be hooked to the wall, and then I could have two of these down at this end. So I would go through two of these and one up there, and I'd have a 4-to-1 pull to lift that wall, and I could do that with my teeth. It would be so light. But anyway, thanks for joining me, everybody. This is GBear, thanking you for coming by every day and enjoying my videos, and signing off.